internet courtships, it's more that the horror of post-feminism Western culture has been distilled into a goop that is now spread across the interwebs. And so what you see is the worst of everything, including how men are responding to the takeover of women by the feminist ideology. It's very strange to me. So, like, when I'm talking to a lot of guys who are responding to this and saying how horrible it is and all of these feminists are terrible, their response to it still seems to put women in the position where they're entirely responsible for everything going on, which to me has seemed an odd thing, because if you do truly believe in the authority of man, you know, that a man is endowed with a particular authority by God that a woman is not, and you believe in patriarchy, at what point is it entirely women's fault that they've you know, rushed like lemmings off a cliff in the race for equality with men? So I've been talking to everybody about all of these kinds of things, but also the way that men and women are behaving on the internet. I mean, this is the first time I've been female online. I've just gone through a weird digital gender transition from anyone that doesn't know me very well. I was a man on the internet for what, 2 years? Was it, Doug?
3.
About 3 years, and it was fantastic.
You gender fluid in your internet presence. What was different about it? What kind of character did you get to be as a man on the internet?
Great question. On the internet, so I've said this before when someone said, "Oh, you should act more ladylike on the internet." So now I'm in a strange predicament, because until recently, having come out as completely female, to me there was no point being feminine on the internet. The internet is an environment of pure intellect. You're disembodied.
Right.
So you're in this world where your physicality doesn't have any influence whatsoever. It's this disembodied, abstract world where you're engaged in a kind of combat of intellect and personality and creativity, which is very masculine. The way that the environment is sort of set up is built for a kind of creative competition that I don't think fits the kind of competitiveness that women are generally engaged in. So if I'm talking to everybody online, it was like, what, a year and a half before everyone realized that I may actually be a woman. It's because I got to speak with pure intellect, without pathos that comes along with being a female, and it was really lovely. now I've gone into the other sort of stage where I have to engage with people online and be female. Very strange. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job explaining this, but
well, I'm just thinking through this. So our story is this Christ as lover knight rescuing the soul from the thief,
yes.
and the character that we're wanting to explore is this chivalric knight, and Christ as warrior, which is sort of complicated. Didn't joust; he died on the cross, and the sort of character of the soul in this story is female, and she represents, well, human nature to a certain extent, and then we end up with, well, this incredible, exactly for whom is this story relevant? Do women want to be rescued by Christ as knight? Well, you know, depending on who's portraying him in the movie, right? That there is you know, making Christ. I mean, certainly in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, he's portrayed quite masculine. I mean, he's the Caviezel's. I can't ever remember how to say his name. Jim, the handsome Christ guy, fairly tall. Yes. He's given a very masculine character. But the problem always in Christianity is he's tortured to death. So exactly how is that a heroic activity? He's not going in and slaying monsters as a true knight. There's no dragon that he gets to to slaughter and rescue the maiden from. And yet here we have this medieval attempt to in fact make the Christian story that, right, the knight rescuing the lady from the dragon, effectively. I mean, it's Saint George. Think of Saint George,
Yes.
and then think, why isn't Christianity usually simply monster slayer rescues princess? Okay, so there's that you're already into several layers there. It's like, what is God? What is humanity? What is the knight? What is the dragon? And then when you were talking about, well, but in this world of the internet, where we are, I mean, in text world, we're pure intellect. In visual or audio world, it's a little different. Right now, you and I are still on the internet, but now it's clear that in physical form, you're maybe not what people expected from your solely verbal form, which fits with our media meditations too. It's like, how can you be in text not recognizable as female, whereas in your physical reality or your oral reality, right? Our voice, it's harder to change our voices as women, that we don't have that register. Then we end up incarnate in a different way. But then on the other hand, of course, we've also been gesturing towards the problem of the internet as being this gender confused place of the rainbow people.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't want people to think that I'm celebrating gender confusion when I'm talking about how hilarious this experience was. I suppose wrapping back around to how I'm having discussions with men on the internet, men and women on the internet regarding chivalry. I was born into an environment where I had to become masculine in order to perform. Every woman post third wave feminism, every single woman in a Western environment has had to become masculine. And this is something which I have been trying to explain to people. It's not just a case of feminism wanting equality with men. The environment does not allow us to develop with a healthy sense of our feminine instincts. I mean, from the beginning of a woman's education in most government environments, what we're asked to do is enter a classroom, we're placed alongside boys with the vision that at the end of this educational process, we're going to be entering an economy to compete against the same people that we're sitting beside.
Right.
So I may be more cognizant of this than a lot of other women are, but having left the West and come back into it, I'm very aware that the game of playing a man on Telegram was very easy because I've had to do it already since I was young. And people can say, "Oh, what are you talking about? You know, women don't have to become men." Blah blah blah. In a traditional society, the economic powerhouse of the home was the woman. That's the home economy. But outside of the home, men were expected to perform, provide, invent, trade. Like that external economy was completely controlled by men. So we've had the role flipped. Women have been pushed out of the home. So when I'm kind of celebrating that I could trick everybody into thinking that I was a man, it's sort of like, well, surprise, guys, I'm what women have had to do. I'm just much more honest about it. I am telling you all that I can play man because that's what all of your women have had to do for the last 80 years, and they're really miserable. Whereas I'm enjoying it because I can switch and I go, okay, I'll put kilts on the shelf and I'll go back to being a girl for the rest of the afternoon. But it's very taxing psychologically, and I think this is where we're seeing all of this gender dysphoria. It's real. It's just that people aren't able to articulate exactly why they feel not quite themselves anymore. You're hyper industrializing women to perform like men, and after a certain amount of generations, what do you think? Of course, they're going to want to cut their breasts off.
Right.
Because we're psychologically turning into men. So it would then follow that the physicality would be adjusted. You know, maybe I'm ranting a little bit too much about this, but it's something I think people need to think about. Um, the internet is the place of pure intellect, but it's also the place where people get to, I think, reveal the full extent of the damage that all of these cultural engineering processes have had on them. So it really pops out very strongly.